This is ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. Topping our news tonight, it has happened again. Another mass shooting. This time, at least 14 people are dead and at least 17 are injured in San Bernardino, California. We are now learning new details about what happened and possibly why. Police say they believe one of the three suspect shooters remains at large. Within the last hour, officers engaged in the shootout in a suburban neighborhood, leaving one suspect dead and one likely wounded in an SUV. The chief of the San Bernardino Police Department spoke earlier about the attack.
Preliminary information indicates that these are people that came prepared, that they were dressed and equipped in a way to indicate that they were prepared, and they were armed with long guns, not handguns.
We'll have the latest on the situation from ABC News reporter Brandy Hitt in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, here in Florida, more people are buying guns than ever before. The recent Black Friday weekend saw record numbers of gun sales. Nearly 15,000 people bought guns this past weekend in Florida. That's 2,000 more than the previous record in 2013. In Sarasota County, places like the Bullet Hole and High Noon Guns have experienced a huge increase in business.
Sales, if you're doing 30 a day, we're doing like 90. So, I mean, it's going pretty crazy.
Friday we were open and we were around pretty much all day long. The shooting range, we had people queuing out the door. The store was busy. We also had a sale going on.
Owners of a local gun shop say people are mainly buying guns for protection or hunting. They tell us that gun sales should continue on this upward trend in the weeks and the months ahead. The full-time faculty at State College of Florida has voted they have no confidence in the college's Board of Trustees. Faculty leadership say last night's board meeting was the final straw. Most of the 120 faculty members voted no confidence. The vote comes after the board eliminated continuing contracts for faculty members, an idea proposed by Trustee Carlos Baruf. Faculty Senate President Robin Bell says this decision makes it difficult to attract quality professors and students to the college.
If that's the case, that's not fair to us or our students or our community. This kind of decision about removing continuing contract should come from the state level, not from our college, one of 28 colleges.
The next board meeting will be January 26th, and it will be where the final vote on eliminating continued contracts will take place. Representative Greg Stubbe's dog bite bill has been approved by two House committees since August. Now its counterpart in the state Senate is following suit. County commissioners asked Stubbe to sponsor a bill following the controversial Patty the dog case in Manatee County. The lab mix bit a child's ear in June and was nearly put down before public pressure stopped it. The Senate bill seeks to establish an appeals process for owners, allowing a hearing officer to consider the facts surrounding a case before putting a dog down. Patty's owner is hopeful the bill can protect future dog owners from a similar experience.
This has gone beyond the micro issue of me getting Patty back to more of a macro issue that would hopefully prevent anybody else from having to go through the same thing again.
County commissioners are confident the House version of the bill will get a vote in the full legislature as early as January. Finally, the state Supreme Court has signed off on new congressional boundaries after state legislators failed to do so. The state Supreme Court ruled 5-2 today in favor of a map approved earlier by a circuit court judge. The new map has major implications for the Suncoast. Sarasota will now be split at Clark Road. The southern part of the county will be represented by Okeechobee Congressman Tom Rooney. Vern Buchanan his district will now reach into Hillsborough County, but several Florida congressmen are vowing to fight the new districts in court because the new districts make it nearly unwinnable for them. December is Impaired Driving Prevention Month, and opponents of marijuana are launching a campaign warning about the dangers of drugged driving. The coalition is opposing a constitutional amendment on next year's ballot that would legalize medical marijuana in Florida. Legislators supporting the campaign say even though drunk driving is down nationwide, states legalizing marijuana are seeing more drivers high on drugs.
When you're hurt by an impaired driver, it doesn't matter whether it's alcohol or marijuana, you're still hurt. We want to protect the safety of our roadways, our children, and our families from the increase of this.
The coalition will be putting up billboards across Florida warning about the dangers of driving while on drugs, both legal and illegal. The city of Venice is hoping new traffic lights and parking lots will help ease congestion downtown. As the tourism season picks up, downtown Venice naturally gets more crowded. Areas around the Venice Avenue Bridge and North 41 Bridge are two spots that stay busy. The city has also purchased equipment to count how many cars come onto the island. And now for an update on our weather is Bob Harrigan. Bob?
Alan, I'll tell you what, we are looking at some showers approaching the Suncoast. Things are going to change a little bit. Let's go to the maps and show you what's happening as far as that goes. We are anticipating a good deal of scattered shower activity over the next 48 hours due to a cold front that is advancing slowly. Now it's over the Panhandle, really the associated rain out ahead of it. You can see it just to the west of our particular area. There have been some inland storms associated with the sea breeze and the warm temperatures today, but most of that has been off the coast, and now these showers are getting close to us. So we'll keep a chance for showers in late tonight and then throughout the day periodically on Thursday. And it looks as though temperatures will be a little bit cooler because of the increased cloud cover than they were today. 82 the high, above average. What else is new, right? 69 was the low this morning, well above the typical 56-degree reading that you would expect this time of year. And as far as the current conditions go, we do have fair skies, some high clouds still around, 75 warm degrees, and the dew point is high too at 73. And the winds are calm, and that means we could see some fog forming, but with the high cirrus clouds around, I'm not anticipating much widespread activity for tonight. Temperatures staying warm, in fact, at 71 degrees. We could have some rain by then too. Showers expected to move on in. That wind flow will be out of the north and pick up out of the northeast by tomorrow morning. So we'll see a little bit of a breezier day with some higher gusts too in the afternoon and evening. That's one thing to note. It will start to stay breezy beginning tomorrow and Friday. Look at that, gust as high as 25 to 30 miles an hour at times, with a steady wind out of the north and northeast anywhere from 10 to 15. Looks like the future clouds and precipitation showing some showers moving in tomorrow morning and then continuing into the afternoon and then redeveloping later on in the evening with some more showers anticipated on Friday. It doesn't appear that it's going to be setting up widespread rain over our area, but periodic showers are not out of the question. For boaters tomorrow, seas will be pretty high, 2 to 4 feet as a north wind starts to develop. A few showers around. Water temperature at 76 degrees. That's actually warmed a couple degrees last few days. Partly cloudy and some fog. Temperature is a little bit cooler than that 82-degree reading. We are expecting temperatures to be into the mid to upper 70s. There's the extended forecast. Good chance for showers on Thursday and Friday. A little bit less rain over the weekend. We have the Sarasota Parade taking place on Saturday night. Looks to be okay, just windy. And then we'll see another front move through on Monday, which will cool us down into the low to mid 70s for highs.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, a mass shooting in California leaves at least 14 people dead at a center for people with developmental disabilities. 17 others are injured. The search for the suspects continues tonight. When we come back, we'll have the very latest from San Bernardino.
Now get the new Ford you want with no hassle and no negotiating necessary. It's the Friends and Neighbors pricing event at Sarasota Ford. Shop over 500 new Fords on-site or online, and the one low price you see is the price you pay. 16 Ford Fusion SE, just $17,995 or $189 a month. A new F-150 Super Crew XLT from $28,795. Plus, buy new Fords and don't pay a thing till spring. Think of it as an inside deal from your friends at Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. Visit SarasotaFord.com.
You can help make the wishes of Suncoast children and seniors come true this holiday season. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. Join ABC7 and share your good fortune by becoming a Salvation Army Angel.
Just stop by ABC7 or Sunset Kia in Sarasota, Bradenton, or Venice to pick up an Angel Tree gift tag. It will tell you what a local child or senior citizen is wishing for this holiday season.
Thanks for your generosity and happy holidays from ABC7.
Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
This week on Millionaire.
I really, really, really want to be your first millionaire.
When the going gets tough.
I'm not sure. Oh, goodness me, this is a difficult line.
They get tougher.
I want the million. I'll put 25 on the line. Final, please help me.
I came here to play. I'm going to go for it. Oh, Matt, you're right. $50,000.
This week.
Here it is, your $100,000 question. This will be a pure guess.
On Millionaire.
Tonight at 7:30 on ABC 7. Here's what's coming up tonight on ABC 7.
A wild and deadly day of gunfire in California. It all took place in San Bernardino, about 60 miles from Los Angeles. ABC's Brandy Kidd is in San Bernardino with the latest. Brandy?
Hi, Alan. Well, we have two active scenes right now. From where I am, I'm actually at the crime scene. 2 miles away from where we are is what's really active right now. This is where police have engaged in a shootout with the suspects, they say. At least two, they say, have been dealt with. They're surrounded an SUV that's been riddled with bullets. A third suspect seen fleeing that SUV in the neighborhood is at large, and right now officers are going door to door trying to track him down. Now, these are the same men officers believe opened fire here where I am at the crime scene earlier in this afternoon, dressed in some sort of camouflage possibly, or wearing black masks. According to witnesses, 3 men with long guns stormed inside. We know they've killed at least 14 people, another 17 wounded, and those injuries are very extensive as this whole area was put into lockdown mode and the 3 suspects fleeing in an SUV. Right now, of course, the big question is motive. The suspects have not been identified, but we do know the building behind me houses some county offices here and also an organization that helps the developmentally disabled. Reporting live in San Bernardino, Brandy Kidd, ABC 7, your Suncoast News. Alan.
Brandy, if we could ask you this, there have been some reports out there that at least one of the suspects was in a meeting or a conference inside that building and then left angrily and came back. Do you know anything about that?
Where they were and check that area again last week.
That is something the LA Times has been reporting of late. That has not been confirmed by ABC News. It's not known if these suspects were tied to that meeting that took place, that luncheon we're told was taking place in the building. It's such a large building, officers say. It houses hundreds of employees with different organizations. So right now they are not getting specifics on what may have unfolded in what type of office within that giant complex, Alan.
And I know that the situation involving deaths and injuries is fluid, but is there a possibility that the number of injuries or deaths can increase?
Oh, definitely. This is a fluid situation. I mean, this whole area behind us is in lockdown, and for hours you had agencies, including a lot of local, state government agencies, schools in lockdown and sheltering in place as well. The injuries said to be severe among those who did survive, and they described the terror to their family members. A lot of people were communicating through text message, which, as you can imagine, if you knew you had a loved one working inside, that would be the first thing you would want to know if they're okay. A lot of family members relieved, a lot of them saddened knowing that the injured have been rushed to 2 local area hospitals. Again, 17. That number went up from 14 earlier, so obviously the number could continue to rise as well, Alan.
And Brandy, if I could ask you this, because the aerial pictures have been absolutely stunning in their detail, but it also shows you that authorities must have had some good surveillance on these suspects because they were able to catch up with their car. Do we know, in terms of aerial aircraft, what law enforcement is using or used to track down these suspects?
Oh, yes. I can tell you I've worked in Southern California for a long time, and I've never seen so many local agencies in one area covering a crime scene. Massive police presence, including state, local, federal, ATF. And what they did immediately is they band together and they put every agency's aircraft in the sky looking for all they knew was a dark-colored SUV. And this went on for hours, which is really surprising that this SUV was only spotted a couple miles from where we are. When we were talking to investigators, they told us it's been several hours. This car could be all the way to San Diego by now. It's not known. So the fact that they tracked it down that quickly and that the suspects didn't go very far is interesting, Alan.
What's also fascinating, Brandy, is that we are getting live pictures of the scene and the multiple scenes at play here. And it seems that what we're seeing on television is ahead of what the information that authorities are releasing.
We knew immediately when something was going on and they had likely a suspect down or a suspect in custody, because we saw a mass exodus all of a sudden from where we are here at the crime scene leaving. You had lights and sirens going by. You had SWAT team loaded with armed officers hanging on the outside of the car going to this next scene. And what's really interesting is just to see the massive police presence. We're told that some of these officers who normally aren't in this region happened to be just a few hundred yards away at a training facility training when this went down. So you had extra officers just nearby that could drop what they're doing and be here that quickly. That's the kind of presence we have here, Alan. And when you look at those live pictures, the scene that's still unfolding right now, just a couple of miles away, that's intense. These officers only have maybe 20 minutes of daylight left, and they have that one outstanding suspect who they say fled that same SUV. They're going door to door, that whole area in lockdown, as you can imagine. And knowing what they've already seen unfold here, you can also imagine they are taking every precaution to make sure nothing else and nobody else gets hurt.
And finally, let me just ask you, are the schools around the shooting scene still on lockdown? Can those children go home, and are people still being told to stay in their homes?
We were told in this area that the government agencies are no longer on lockdown, and that the building itself, where some people nearby around that kind of business complex, their lockdown had been lifted. When it comes to the schools, we haven't gotten firm confirmation that those lockdowns have been lifted, but I can imagine if other government agencies are lifting their lockdowns. Hopefully, it's so late here on the West Coast, the schools have been lifted. When we first arrived here on scene, which was interesting, is I was maybe a few miles away and had to pull over to make a couple phone calls and went to use a gas station to go inside. Doors were locked. People were inside doing business, but they would only unlock the doors for individual customers to come inside. People were that scared and that nervous. People eating lunch next door. Business as usual, but their doors were locked. That's how just intense and terrifying the situation's been here, Alan.
Okay, thank you very much, Brandy Hitt, and stay safe out there. And when we come back, we'll have more on this tragic mass shooting situation out of California and discuss the implications these events have for us on the Suncoast with our roundtable when we return.
Attention. This is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or even death. At the law offices of Jacoby & Myers, we've been bringing compassion and experience to our clients for over 40 years. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call Jacoby & Myers today. You may be entitled to compensation. Our firm has decades of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Call the law offices of Jacoby & Myers now for a free confidential consultation. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
Please call 800-897-6764.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. Tablets, smartphones, and computers.
Well, recent data shows that letting young kids use one of those devices might actually be a good thing. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
We're looking at some continued unsettled weather as a cold front sinks south and stalls. We'll talk about its effect on the forecast bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Tonight's gonna rock.
I won an air guitar contest in high school.
Bet that got you a lot of air girlfriends.
Because it's all new.
You're welcome, America.
Celebrating that busy time of the year with all the unexpected guests.
Oh my God.
Loud family.
You think I'm too loud?
And Top Gun surprises.
It's me, Barry's wing mom.
What? So you'll want an all-new Middle, Goldbergs, Modern Family, and Blackish to help you relax.
We're off the hamster wheel, man.
All new tonight on ABC.
Welcome back. Over the past several hours, we have watched a tragic situation unfold before us in California. Last week, it was a gunman at a Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado Springs. The U.S. suffers from mass shootings more than any other country on the planet. But what should we take away from all this carnage? And joining us for more on today's events are ABC7 anchors Scott Dennis and Haley Wilgus. And thank you both for being here. You know what is actually incredible? This is the 21st mass shooting this year, and mass shootings are defined as 4 or more. Have either of you ever seen anything like this before?
No. I mean, you can go back to October 1st when we had the community college in Oregon, Umpqua Community College, 10 people killed there. Last Friday, the Planned Parenthood clinic in Colorado, and then today, 14 killed in California. You know, the president said something interesting today that these type of mass shootings should never be thought of just a normal part of U.S. life, and it almost feels like it is, because we're reporting almost weekly now on these kind of mass shootings.
And they all are a little bit different, but kind of the same.
Yeah.
Although I think this one stands out as being almost completely different, because you had what seemed like a planned attack. Usually it's the Lone Ranger person who is either quickly apprehended by authorities or kills him or herself, and usually it is a young male, or has been for many of these. But in this case, you know, it seemed to be a coordinated attack where they were disguised. Some reports said they had body armor on, and they left in a dark SUV. They were in and out, and it almost seemed just like a completely different situation. We're still waiting to hear the details of that.
And here's something that's also really striking. We are seeing incredible live pictures as these events unfold, and it seems that we at home know more about what's going on than authorities, or at least telling the media out there, or perhaps even know themselves. And that really kind of goes to the nature of our technology at this point.
Yeah, you saw during the 6 p.m. news update that I think it was the sheriff's office there in California was giving on what was happening. And the spokesperson, did not have as much information as the reporters asking the questions, because we had just all watched it through those aerial shots from the helicopter, what was happening, that they had the black SUV was there. There was a man on the ground with a gun, police cars surrounding it. And she sort of seemed out of the loop. And as you say, the viewers were way ahead. We sort of knew that there was another situation there. So technology, yeah.
And here we have in Florida, as we just reported, more guns are being sold now than ever before. It seems that whether you are pro-gun or anti-gun, people are angry and have yet to find any kind of consensus in terms of what to do about it.
That's part of the thing. I mean, as they start to talk about what steps we can take, there's usually another incident before that, you know, that could even be really discussed. And then I think that this is even heightened more since the Paris attacks, because we don't know the nature of this. And because it is a little bit different, I think everyone is taking this even more seriously now that we're in the wake of those Paris attacks. So.
I found an interesting stat, if I can have time. CNN was reporting, and they got these numbers from the CDC. More than 400,000 people died by firearms on U.S. soil from 2001 to 2013. More than 400,000. That's the same number of Americans that died during World War II. So you put those numbers in perspective, and it is very alarming. We are a kind of a gun-crazy society here in America. It is our God-given right by the Constitution to own a gun. But you know, I take it back to Sandy Hook Elementary. It was my worst day in television news. It didn't happen here, but it sure felt like it. It crushed me, and I struggled all day long to hold my emotions together that day. And all I wanted to do was go home and hug my daughter, who was in elementary school at the time. And if things don't change, and I don't know what the answer is, and I don't know if there is a change that can be made to stop these things from happening, but if that doesn't sort of kickstart something, what will? 20 first graders getting killed.
Absolutely. We'll have to leave it there. Scott, Haley, thanks a lot for joining us, and we'll be back in just a moment.
This is an important medical warning. The FDA has issued a public health advisory for all people taking the type 2 diabetes drug Invokana. The warning states that Invokana may lead to diabetic ketoacidosis, a serious condition where the body produces high levels of blood acids called ketones that may require hospitalization. If you or a loved one have taken Invokana and have been diagnosed with kidney failure or hospitalized with ketoacidosis, call the law offices of Jacoby and Myers today. Invokana may also cause other forms of liver damage. In more severe cases, Invokana has led to organ failure, coma, and even death. At the law offices of Jacoby and Myers, we've been bringing compassion and experience to our clients for over 40 years. You may be entitled to significant compensation for all of the injuries and damage that Invokana has caused you and your loved ones. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled.
please call 800-671-1361.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Do you long to wear the season's hottest fashions, but you aren't model thin? I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View, a fall fashion show for all figures from an industry expert. Our Sounds of the Season features holiday favorites on steel drum, plus details about the Bradenton Blues Festival, and Hyde Park Grill will join us in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on ABC7 Suncoast View. Smart, fun talk that's everything Suncoast.
Show us your best cry face. When the hilarious Jane Lynch skips on by. Speak with an accent for the rest of the game. I think I'll be Cockney. It's game on. Perform your best makeout scene on yourself. Then she's the cat's meow. Beth Stern brings her cuddly pals to our set. There you go. Plus, nachos for dinner. Who doesn't love nachos? Yum. Next, Rachel.
Tomorrow at 3 on ABC 7.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to cross home plate in front of a cheering crowd at a Major League ballpark? I'm Max Winitz, and you can find out by joining Save Our Seabirds, the Baltimore Orioles, and ABC 7 for Run for the Birds, December 12th at Ed Smith Stadium. The 5K and 1 mile fun run will end at home plate and will be followed by a festival with live music, food, and fun. Proceeds benefit Save Our Seabirds, whose mission is to rescue and rehabilitate sick and injured birds. Register today at raceroster.com.
And that's all the time we have for this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn. Have a good night.